So IK Multimedia have another group buy on, this time for Syntronik 2. And that's what this video was going to be about. But before we talk about that, there's something else we really need to discuss, something you really need to know. So we've all watched videos on YouTube that you absolutely definitely need to know this, and you didn't really. But in this case, I'm going to stick my neck out and say you possibly do. IK Multimedia do have another sale on, a group buy for their new Syntronik, and this video was going to be a gentle walk through all of that. But in the process of downloading some of the files, I discovered something that really rattled my cage. So let's have a look. So this is Syntronik 2. And when it installs, it will install its VSTs into the appropriate folders, but it will install its content, which is sample based, into this folder. Users, public documents, IK Multimedia. There's one for Sample Tank and there's one for Syntronik that's separate. Even though Syntronik is basically the same sort of technology, a sample player, as Sample Tank 4, which rather gives the game away for the video I was going to do about it, but we'll move on. It installs its instruments and samples into these folders by default. Now, you can go into the settings in Syntronik, just like you can in Sample Tank, and tell it to load the content somewhere else. And then you can freely move that content from your primary drive, your C drive, to your designated library drive. Now, I have my own little array of disks. It's not a redundant array of interconnected disks or whatever RAID stands for, but I do have my little library over there, just out of shot. And on the L drive, I've got plenty of space. Let me show you about space. What do you notice about that? My C drive, my primary drive, my operating system drive, and the one that I run Cubase from is running out of space. Significantly running out of space. And that's happened in the last week or two. Are you beginning to join the dots? I only found this out when I downloaded one of the first of the Syntronik libraries, the one that I actually bought to get into the group buy. And that was the GSV. And when I loaded it up and loaded up all the presets, there was a hell of a gap. The alphabet jumped from F to M. And anything that you now see as G and H just wasn't there. So I went looking for the missing drives. Now, if you go into the IK Product Manager and you go into Sounds, you will see that these are installed. But these are installed because I've got Modo Drum. But the download size, two files remaining, is 2.2 gigabytes. Now, when you get down to the Syntronik sounds, you can see the download size is quite significant. 9 gigabytes, 2 gigabytes for that one, 6 gigabytes. Let's find the GS1 because that was the major one, 31 gigabytes. So when you download these, it downloads the file and installs them, and the download size is 31 gig. I didn't much fancy re-downloading 31 gigabytes because I was missing a few samples. So I went looking for where the samples might be. Now, normally on a Windows PC, and I do apologise if you're a Mac user because it's just not a world I've ever walked in. It downloads into your Downloads folder. The name says it, it does what it says on the tin. And then you're left with a variety of options. Native Instruments Access downloads the stuff, and where it downloads it to, I have no idea, because it always just ends up on my contact drive when it downloads. I think it must direct download it and directly download it there. There's always an empty Arturia folder in my downloads folder whenever I download anything from Arturia. So I presume it downloads the stuff, installs it, and then quietly wipes its evidence. ToonTrack will ask you in the download manager, the product manager for ToonTrack, do you want to delete the downloads now that you've downloaded them? IK Multimedia, I never knew what happened. I just assumed that it would download it, install it to the external drive it's been told to, and then quietly cover its footsteps. I was somewhat surprised when I found the answer, and you may be too. So, when you go looking for where your IK Multimedia stuff is stored, you end up in the Documents folder on your PC. That's where it stores on Windows. I don't know where it puts it on an Apple Mac. Like I say, it's not something I know. But you look at a product like Modo Bass, Modo Drum. Let's pick Modo Drum as an example. Let's look at the properties. There we are, 11 meg. It's not really anything to write home about, is it? 11 megabytes, it's a drop in the ocean. Let's go back. We are talking a drive that is 460 gig. 11 meg is not going to break the bank. You look at the H1n B3X. Now that's a bit of a beast. That's really quite something. And it's 1 meg. Well, yeah, nothing to worry about there. You look at Syntronik 2. Now, but you know, got to be something in there. 2 meg. What's this? Product Manager. Let's have a look what the Product Manager's holding. Yes, I've been in there before. 111 gigabytes of content in the Product Manager. Content that is actually stored on the L drive. I have 111 gigabytes. What is in there? Let's have a look. And here you have all of the stuff that I have downloaded. Is the Amplitude 5 stuff. That's 2 gig. That's nothing worrying. Come down here and look in that one. Yep, 30.3 gigabytes. So all of these Sample Tank and Syntronik files, if I just highlight them. So we've got Billy Cobham drums, cinematic percussion. Just picking the Sample Tank stuff. .99 gigabytes of stuff, of samples, basically. So let's open one of these up and have a look and see what's in it. So, zip files, 8 zip files and an update. And we'll go in there, Syntronik sound content, samples, and there's all of these. If we now go over to my L drive, and find the samples for the GSV. Oop, wrong one. The reason I seem to have all of them installed, by the way, is because when you install Syntronik 2, it installs a few sample presets for each of the synths. So you can have a bit of a play with each one of them just to see what they are. And look, acoustic piano. So I reckon that if I close that down and I was to take out all of those making sure that I'm in the right. If I was to go and take out all of these from my Product Manager folder, basically these are just the zip files, the downloads. They're not installed files. They're just, and that's 111 gigabytes of stuff. You need to keep them, because if you go back into the Product Manager, you will see it says 177 days left. That's because after your 180 days that you're given when you download them, you have to pay a €9.99 fee to get a reload token so you can re-download the whole shebang. So it's worth keeping them, but not clogging up your C drive. So what I have done is I have transferred them to my Elements drive, which is my 4 terabyte librarian. And if I go down to VST downloads, IK Multimedia, there's my Product Manager mirror. So when I download something in future and it gets installed into the Product Manager in my Documents folder, this one here, and I do apologize for the proliferation of windows, but I hope you've kept up. When it downloads into there, once it's installed on the L drive, I will copy it from there to the mirror, which has the complete mirror, and then I shall delete them out. And in fact, what I shall do now is I shall delete all of these duplicated items. Because I do intend to take advantage of the group buy. I've paid my money. Well, most of it. You can use your jam points if you join the group buy. It's a good thing. But I'm going to clear some space right now by getting rid of these. And I do want to permanently delete them. I might delete the rest later. But for right now, I am just deleting them. It's having a big think about it, because it was an awful lot of stuff to just dump. But it's gone. And now I have 131 gig free on my root, my C drive. Facebook notifications, don't you just love them? And I have reduced the size of the Product Manager folder from 111 gigabytes down to 12 gig. I can live with that for now. As always, I hope you found this useful. If you do, please like and subscribe. I will be doing a video about Syntronik 2 now that I've got a bit of elbow room on my disk drive in order to download some more stuff, which only leaves me to say, until then, you take care of yourselves.